Hey, everybody. Let's do another question here. We have a question from Christopher, who's in the This Week in Startups community, which you can join, community.thisweekinstartups.com. It's free. And Christopher asks, I recently read a very enlightening article on Medium. I'm an investor in Medium.com, very cool company, about VC fundraising. Basically, the concept was stop sending your deck around, stop meeting with associates, those are the junior level people at a venture firm, and only spill your company secrets to named VC firm partners. And all that matters is getting this initial VC meeting, our TAM and traction. Thoughts? It's an oversimplification, but what you explain here, Christopher, without knowing who wrote the article, is not completely true, but generally trending towards true. I'll break it down for you. If you are going to try to raise venture capital, raising venture capital is very hard today. You need traction. And if it's an enterprise company, you're looking at, let's call it $100,000 a month in MRR, monthly reoccurring revenue. So at least $1 million a year, but probably more likely $2 or $3 million a year in revenue for a venture capital firm to want to invest in you. Or if you're a seasoned entrepreneur, which means you've done 2 or 3 companies, you've sold 1 or 2 companies, and you've made other investors money, and you're notable, or you came out of a large company and you had a senior position, so you were the VP of product at Twitter and you're starting a company, it is possible in those scenarios to just raise money from a venture capitalist because you're a known quantity without having traction. Yes, someone like Kevin Rose or Stuart from Slack or Mark Pincus or Evan Williams from Medium and Twitter or Jack from Square and Twitter, they could just walk in to any venture capital firm and say, I have a new idea, and they'd probably give them a $5 million check for a Series A for 25% of their company. That's one of the great things about our industry. If you have a track record, you're going to be able to raise money easily. But for everybody else, you have to prove it. And you have to have angel funding, syndicate funding, and revenue, and have built up to that point. So yes, you don't want to try to meet with VCs before it's too soon. You need to know when is the right time to meet with the VC. The right time to meet with a venture capitalist is when your company has some significant level of traction. Do not contact VCs before you hit serious traction. Serious traction in our industry here in Silicon Valley is going to be $50,000 to $100,000 a month in recurring revenue, and it's going to be 10 to 100,000 people using your product a day and a couple of million people a month using your product for a consumer product, right? So consumer products that'll be ad supported, like an Instagram or a YouTube. Yeah, they don't need to go to a VC until maybe 10,000 people a day, in my estimation. Now, one thing I will disagree with is to stop meeting with associates. Now, associates are the people who are hoping to be venture capitalists someday, and they do a lot of the grunt work for a VC. And a VC might say to them, hey, just watch these emails and pitches coming in and put them into our database and sort them and categorize them. Associates have no decision-making power, but associates do have the ear of venture capitalists. So if an associate, who's typically a younger person starting their career, would be a millennial or maybe even part of Generation C, the connected generation, or Generation Z, as I've heard them called. A lot of times a 40 or 50-year-old VC might look at their 25 or 30-year associate and say, you know what, he or she might have insights into how the kids are using Snapchat that I don't have as a married person living in Woodside in a $10 million house, like a venture capital might be doing. So those associates can actually be some group of people that you want to build a relationship with. Now, if you get escape velocity and you're a serious entrepreneur, you would never even talk to these associates. You're not going to be involved with them. You're going to be talking directly to the partners. But if you're up and coming in your career and you've got an angel-funded company, and let's say you're below the traction level I talked about earlier, maybe you're at $10,000 a month in recurring revenue, maybe you're at 5,000 people using your product a day, sure, go meet with an associate. What I like to do is challenge them. We're not fundraising now. However, if you would like to come meet the team, we'd love to have you come over. Not going to their place. Just saying, hey, we'd love to have you come by and see what we're working on if an associate reaches out to you. But these associates sometimes just email everybody in a category, everybody who graduated from a recent incubator, everybody who was on TechCrunch, everybody who's on Recode, everybody on the top 5 on Product Hunt. Their just job is to put those all in a database. So you can be getting snowed by those associates into thinking, oh my God, they contacted me, they're really interested. Their job is to create a full picture for the venture partner. So yeah, you're just part of the full picture. You might be the bottom 10% of that full picture they're presenting. So you do need to know cold emailing people and setting your deck around without actually having somebody ask for your deck. Yeah, that's probably a little bit silly too. You want to be referred to somebody. So if you can't find out who are the entrepreneurs who I've invested in, there's 150 of them, and you can't get a meeting with them to say, hey, can I show you my product and get your advice? And would you mind introducing me to Jason? Or you can't look in your LinkedIn or Twitter and see who I interact with and try to find a way to find somebody who knows me who will vouch for you and then introduce you. You're probably a bit of a loser. You probably don't have what it takes to be a founder. You need to have that hustle and be able to work the network. And if you're not in Silicon Valley, you should not expect to get coffee with a Silicon Valley person just because you have an idea. That's another one of the huge mistakes. I have an idea. I have a business plan. Can I get coffee? A lot of these investors are very busy. They have families. They've got boards they're on. Time is the thing they don't have a lot of. They only want to talk to you when you have traction. So I think you have to know your audience as well. If somebody is an angel investor, their benchmark for a meeting is going to be lower. A VC, the benchmark is going to be higher. An associate is going to be somewhere in between. So there is a time to focus on just the VCs and just getting introduced to them. And there's a time to be cold emailing angels, sure. And Christopher's company is hardware-based. Hardware is hard. So one little tip for Christopher on the hardware tip is if you haven't done pre-orders and if you haven't done a Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or something to that effect, or your own crowdfunding tilt campaign, you should probably do that because all of the investors look and see, hey, have you gotten any validation from the public? And have you put the sweat equity in to get 1,000 pre-orders? If you can't get 1,000 pre-orders, why are we even talking about investing in this idea? Come up with another idea that is worthy of 1,000 pre-orders. So when I saw that Butterfly and Birdie were able to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in pre-orders, that engaged me as an angel investor. Now I would expect to see $500 or $1 million in pre-orders, and even then I might not be interested because hardware is so hard. Hardware is just a lot of scar tissue. People hate hardware investments. Okay, great question. I hope that's helpful. Let me tell you about a product that is not pathetic, but solves a lot of problems in my house and many of my friends. I was talking to some of the Engadget bloggers and founders, and they love this product too. It's called Eero, E-E-R-O. It's the world's first home mesh Wi-Fi system. It is mesh. What that means is they connect to each other, and they do that fast. And with a simple iOS or Android app, Eero will blanket your home in Wi-Fi coverage. You want to buy one of those triple packs so you can put it everywhere. And the first one replaces your existing router. You know what you have connecting to your cable box, your fiber if you're lucky enough to have that. And then the additional Eeros just simply plug into outlets, and they connect wirelessly for fast, reliable Wi-Fi for the entire home. I have used it. I love it. It sets up so easily, and it kicked the butt of the previous routers I was using. And I think I can mention them because they're discontinued. I was using, there's another thing Apple discontinued was their Apple airports, which constantly did not work for me and were a source of much marital discord. Literally, when my wife comes walking up to me and she's upset, I'm like, oh my God. There's like one of three things she's upset about. One, I let my daughter eat candy. Two, I left a mess somewhere. Three, the Wi-Fi's down. No more. I got rid of 1/3 of marital discord is gone because of Eero. Go ahead and visit Eero.com, EERO.com, and enter the promo code TWIST, and you will get free expedited shipping. You're going to get it really quick. Go to Eero.com, EERO.com, and put in the promo code TWIST. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's simple. That's one of the best things about it is it's so simple to use. I love it. Go ahead and follow Get Eero as well. Use the promo code TWIST. Very important, use that promo code so that our partners know that you actually heard about it from Uncle Jason.